If you're a business owner and feel like your web developer is holding your site hostage, then this video is for you. Like many small business owners, you're so busy running your business that it's hard to understand everything, especially when it comes to the internet, to the website, to the domain name, to hosting companies, and to back-end portals. So I want to clear up some confusion when it comes to things you might not understand that a web developer does understand. First, if the contract or agreement that you signed with the web developer does not cover starting with a shared login credentials between your business and the developer, then don't panic. It's very typical that the web developer probably has combined the domain name to his own domain manager account. Same thing applies to the hosting of the website being under his own hosting login credentials. Reason why? This is the easiest and fastest way for the developer to get started. When it comes time to ask for the login credentials to the site, Houston, we have a problem. This is where the confusion begins. But again, this shouldn't make you panic. As with anything on the internet, keeping secure and private passwords is mandatory, especially when it comes to domain names and hosting credentials, because this can affect other things like email addresses and passwords. You see, it all is tied together. But now let's say the business owners want to move on from the web developer and request all the passwords and login credentials. The web developer may need to move the domain name out of his domain manager account, and they might need to move the hosting credentials to another account. Still confused? The web developer cannot provide login credentials to his own domain manager, especially if it's combined with other domains. You will need to separate the domain from his other domains by creating a new domain manager login credentials. By the way, I recommend having only one domain manager and not several, as it can lead to confusion down the road. The reason being, it's harder and harder to keep track of things when you have more than one domain manager account. Furthermore, transferring domains ownership and provider can take up to 14 days to complete. Again, there's nothing to panic about when the developer explains that this is a process, because it can clearly be found on the internet. It's a process that is meant to ensure the safety of the domain names and that they don't get transferred to another person easily. Now, when switching to login credentials for both the domain and the hosting at the same time, then you need to start with the hosting provider first. I like to use the analogy of stuff in a storage unit. If the web developer is hosting the website with his other clients, then it's like a storage unit full of different things from different people. The web developer will need to have a separate storage unit to move your stuff into that is separate than anything else. The web developer cannot keep the same files in the storage unit and give you access to all the other stuff. So the first step in switching hosting companies and ownership is to get a new storage unit. That requires finding a hosting provider. So the first step in switching hosting companies and ownership is to get a new storage unit. That requires finding a hosting provider that can offer all the same services. By the way, not all hosting companies operate the same, so beware. Once you find a hosting company, then you need to upload the files to the new hosting company. This will require the business owner to provide the login credentials and give it to the web developer so he can upload the files to the new hosting provider. This also comes with connecting more things to the site like database. Alright, what all this means is that it's a process. It's a process that you should not be in fear or panic. And when the web developer says that they cannot provide passwords and login credentials, is you got to understand that they might have it merged in with their own domain manager account and hosting account. So give it time and make sure that the web developer is willing to work with you to switch it to another thing. That's a quick rundown of what it takes to switch hosting providers and domain managers ownership. Kind of ends the video. If you need any web development work, please give me a call. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the real world.